Greetings, programs. This is Wretch. Welcome back to Citizen Sleeper 2 Starward Vector. And in the last episode, guys, we saw the fruits of our labor, both literally and figuratively, as we were able to foster a good relationship between the Far Spindle and the Greenbelt. But we couldn't rest on our laurels, we had to keep moving, and now we are here at a place called the Wellspring, a giant mining station controlled by the Lotic Syndicate, and Serafin is here and determined to figure out what happened to his sister. Now, the station is massive. There are different areas to go into. We have an ice extraction facility that we can't enter yet without a Lotic pass, so I guess any workers are syndicate members only. So let's go ahead and keep exploring. Now, here at the Cutwater, we can buy a meal and work a shift to get some money. Lotic Depot, Syndicate Supply Yard. We can grab some fuel. That's great. Let's go ahead and do that. And work a shift at the depot to get some money. And Chasm Row, steaming Main Street. We can buy supplies and fill supplies. We're already full up on those, however. Find the Rhyme Market. Bliss said Serafin was hunting for the Rhyme Market. Whatever it is, you'll need to get to know the area and its hidden ways to find it. And it's intuition, so... Something about the flow of people and goods is wrong here. More people enter than leave. Boxes disappear down alleys. You're close. We're looking for allies, for sure. And might as well give this a shot. We're almost there. Cool. Well, let's go ahead and get some cryo with odd jobs and the cycle. Might need to get some food. Ooh, those are not good dice. Well, we gotta do... you know what? Let's go ahead and sacrifice a kind of a medium dice here. Eight cryo and a hidden rhyme. You pay a street hawker to guide you to an entrance, but they lose you in an alley. Or an alley. Why am I saying ally? An alley. An old trick. So now it's going to cost us money. Now it's serious. A dark corroded door lies in front of you. The markings on it are right. This is the place. The markets of Chasm Row have become familiar in the past cycles. Their steaming, orange-lit depths, the persistent condensation of each unit's windows, the gleam of the amber workers' suits, each contributing to the particular atmosphere of this buried city. But among this, you've noticed other details too. The freelance crews on the hunt for illicit tech, the conversing workers who drop to a whisper when you pass, the light flickering up through floor grates, suggesting even deeper layers. These are the details you have followed to the Rhyme Market, a place discussed in hushed tones in dimly lit rooms. And as you drift towards what you know to be one of its entrances, the door bursts open in front of you. A large dark bundle glides out of the door and impacts the metal wall of the passage with an echoing bang. But your eyes are drawn by the imposing figure that hovers in the doorway, bracing himself on the frame. "Stay out of the Rhyme Market, rat!" The man sends an orb of spit spinning after the bundle. The bundle unfolds, and you suddenly recognize Serafin, wounded, but straightening up to go back for more. Stop, Serafin. I don't know if that's necessarily going to work. Yeah, just... What's going on? The man turns towards you as you shout, and Serafin, seeing the opportunity, kicks off hard, flying into them with swinging fists. The two tumble in a flurry of blows, slamming into the doorframe, until the man gets his legs between him and Serafin and kicks him into the wall. Serafin hits hard and floats away, a few crimson bubbles of blood drifting from his bust lip. Let's go to Serafin and make sure he's okay. You glide over to Serafin as he shakes himself awake. and you put yourself between him and the figure. "Know when you're beaten, rat," the man calls out. "It's time to go home and lick your wounds." Serafin exhales in frustration, his anger fading, replaced by the stinging pain of his injuries. You watch a perfectly round blob of blood form at the bottom of his nose. "You want to explain what's happening?" "For the record," the man folds his arms, "this one started it." He looks between the two of you, snooping around our meeting like a rat. You see his sharp eyes recalculating the situation since your arrival. "I wasn't snooping. I'm looking for someone." Serafin glares. "If you'd taken a minute to talk to me before throwing a punch, maybe you would have got that." The man scratches at his beard, squinting at Serafin. "Say I believe you. What were you doing at the meeting then? Missing persons ain't our business." "All I heard is that this is where the Lotic contractors meet." "I don't like you hearing that. Not at all. And I'm gonna need to ask you who told you that later." He straightens up. "But yeah, this is where the contractors meet. As if that's anything to you." "The person I'm looking for is a contractor." Serafin's frustration rises again. "She uses the cover name Luz. Or Luz." He pauses, a desperation entering his voice. "Please, I think she might be my sister." Something changes in the man's stance. He holds up a massive hand to silence Serafin and looks down the passage in both directions. "Not here." He retreats to the door. "Get in." As you both enter, he reaches past you and slams the metal door behind, spinning the locking wheel with one hand. "I'm Kirk," he grunts, pointing at himself with a thick thumb. "Contractors are my concern, but if Lotic catch us discussing contracts out there..." He shakes his head. He turns and leads you down the passage. You pass an open door and you glance inside to see a group gathered in a circle, all of them in workers' clothes. They're speaking in hushed voices, and one of them exchanges a nod with Kurt. "Let's not interrupt the meeting anymore, shall we?" He glares playfully at Serafin, who remains silent. Kirk leads you to the side of a massive vertical metal pipe, with a rough hole cut in the side, and he beckons you both inside. You descend through the pipe in silence and darkness. Suddenly, you come out through the ceiling of a wide and low hall. As you can see, crooked stalls and makeshift shelters dot the grilled floor, lit by scavenged lanterns and light strips. Steam drifts up through the grates, concealing the room so you cannot see the walls. "Welcome to the Rhyme Market." Kirk gestures a thick hand at the ramshackle interior. "Lotic don't know about this place." He smiles. "Let's get a drink." He leads you off to a nearby stall with a set of improvised stools welded to the floor in front. He hooks his legs onto one, and you and Serafin follow suit. He holds up 3 fingers to the stall's owner, and a drink in a straw-pierced packet is handed to each of you. Serafin looks skeptically at the drink. "We friends now or something?" "Look," Kirk takes a sip. "I'm not going to apologize for putting you on your ass. That's on you. But like I said, I represent the contractors. And if someone's part of the family, well..." He shrugs his massive shoulders. "Then they deserve to be heard out, at least." Let's let Serafin speak. This is his quest, after all. "Enough. You know a Luz. I saw it in your eyes." Serafin glares at him. "Where is she?" "Describe her." Kirk leans back on his stool. "I'm not giving you anything more until you prove she's your sister." Serafin closes his eyes. Dark hair. Used to wear it long. And messy. Bright eyes. Broad shoulders. You see a little twitch around his eyes as he recalls. Tough but kind. Tattoos. Nervous laugh. He opens his eyes and glares at Kirk. That enough? Kirk sniffs. Yeah, that's her. You feel something jump in Serafin, an almost imperceptible tension rising. It's her. His sister. Luz. Kirk speaks slowly, drinking between, or whatever her real name is one of the contractors here. She's part of the most recent contract's Lotic register. That means, just tell me where she is, Serafin demands, his impatience getting the better of him. As I was saying, Kirk gives Serafin a pointed look. Those new contractors are restricted to the pit head. In fact, that's where we were discussing when you interrupted our meeting. Serafin looks away in frustration but holds his tongue. Since the war, the Lotic Syndicate has been trying to lock down Wellspring. They went from a loose association of mining groups to an autocracy and started enforcing contracts with some seriously overreaching terms. Your sister? She's on one of those contracts. Lotic are acting like they own her and the others because, according to their contracts, they do. Which is exactly what we want to do something about. This cycle. He forcefully taps the bar with a finger. We're voting on strike action and a full blockade of Flotsam. We will bring the Syndicate to the table to... Serafin knocks his drink away and kicks off from the table, disappearing into the market. Let's stay with Kirk. Ooh, I don't know. Should we go after him? Yeah, let's go ahead and go after Serafin. We don't know this whole section. He may do another faux pas. You catch up with Serafin in the bustle of the Rhyme Market, among the steam and crowds. I can't have been the only one who saw his pitch coming a mile off. Serafin is bristling with anger. What kind of idiots does he think we are? We should go back. No way. Serafin glares at you. You heard the guy. He was about to recruit us for his great crusade against the Syndicate. Serafin starts to push through the crowd toward the exit tunnel. I'm no one's tool, and you shouldn't be either, Sleeper. He shoves his way forward. We don't need to get tied up in this. We just need to get her out. Serafin forges on ahead, and you get caught in the crowd behind him. As he disappears from view, a heavy hand falls on your back. I want to help you, Sleeper. Kirk's bright eyes meet yours. The Syndicate will do nothing for him or for you. Trust me. But I need your help in return. Kirk sighs. I want to help. Good. Kirk nods. I knew you would. Kirk places a plastic pass card into your hand. It glints with the mark of the Lotic Syndicate, a blurry ID photo laminated into its transparent interior. This'll get you into the pit head. You can see for yourself what's happening there. Don't follow your friend Lotic. Go to the pit head. Find Luz yourself. He meets your eye. When you do, come back to me, and we can discuss how to free her and everyone else like her. If you go to Lotic, if you meet with them, I can't help you. He releases your forearm and drifts back into the crowd, disappearing into the steam and darkness. You float there for a moment, buffeted by passing people, clutching onto the Lotic Pass, trying to decide what to do next. Ooh, new location discovered, okay. What do we have? Oh, we can buy scrap components and buy rare components. Cool. Lotic Operations, Syndicate Command. Negotiate a meeting. Serafin wants to meet with the Syndicate bosses to negotiate his sister's release, and he needs your help. I don't know if that's the best call. I think we should go ahead and see what exactly is going on here. So let's go ahead and use the Lotic Pass. With a Lotic Pass, like any of the workers or Syndicate members carry, you should be able to gain access. Hopefully this isn't a trap, but the supervisor waves you through, barely looking at the pass. You're in. New location, the Wellspring Shaft, the ice mine. Search for Luz. I don't know if it's Luz or Luz. I say Luz. The shaft is a constant flow of contractors, but you're determined to find Luz amongst all the faces. Join a work crew. The best way to find Luz will be to infiltrate the work crews and gain access to the deep parts of the mine. So intuition is definitely the best course of action here. The mine is a vast space, filled with workers, and with patience and care, you can find Serafin's sister. You know it. Now, I've got... Actually, we've got or is this just risky? Yeah, I don't know necessarily we need to do that. But let's see what happens here. I want to see what the negative is. Maybe we get into a scrap. Ooh! You overhear talk of the contractors locked into their contracts, but you miss half the conversation. Well, that worked out a whole lot better than I thought it would. Ooh, do we have a food place? The Pithead Canteen, Lotic Contractor Mess Hall. Canteen ban. Your Lotic pass isn't actually yours, and if they find out, you won't be able to eat here anymore. Well, that's okay. We got our own restaurant over here that will go ahead and buy a meal as soon as we go ahead and crash out for the day. I just really hope Serafin doesn't, like, make a deal with the devil, and then we end up having to do some damage control with that. Let us buy a meal. There's an acid bite and an earthy warmth to the thick red liquid. It staves off the Wellspring cold pretty well. Oh, it's tomato soup. I am a fan. Whoops. Yeah, don't need to sneak a meal. And this should go ahead and get us what we need. Just energy. No one seems to have heard of Luz, or at least they won't tell you if they have. Okay, that still gives us a 6 to use. That finishes that out. You're heading down to the deepest part of the shaft, with the tip-off that Luz is there. The shaft descends toward a sump in the depths of the pit. Here, the air is freezing cold, to prevent the ice from melting into globules of floating water. If your breath carried water, you'd be able to see it in the air. But the absence of steam in each exhalation only serves to remind you of your own strangeness. Not that anyone else notices. The workers' heads are low, their eyes fixed on their work, shuttling chunks of ice and tools up and down the shaft. At the end of the nearby tunnels, you see the bright sparks of ice cutting in progress, slabs hanging in the air in that strange way they do in Zero-G. Some loose memories of a time before Darkside, before Lane, before freedom come to your mind. The familiarity of the cold, the sparks, the endless toil. It chills you more than the packed ice on either side of you ever could. You reach the bottom of the shaft, a metal grill marking the terminus. It squeals at you as you push open the barred doors set into it, and safety lights flicker on, lighting up glittering ice particles all around in their hard beams. It's as if all the stars are held here, in this cavern. As your eyes adjust, the massive space comes into focus. It seems to have no up or down, just countless dark shafts and terraced pits cut into its side. All around, silhouetted by their work lights, contractors cut and haul and gather. This is where those locked-in workers are being held. caught in a contract clause that permits an endless shift. The atmosphere is grim. At the center of the cavern floats a construction of welded-together habitation units. A heavy twist of cables stretches from this improvised structure past you and up the shaft behind, tethering it to a central power source. On each of the 6 sides of this strange apartment block, a set of struts project outward, bracing the construction against the cavern walls. The block itself is wrapped in insulation, clad in protective plates. It glows with small apertures and lights, and you approach the nearest entrance. Everything is bitten by rust and by decay. If the bars on the entrance weren't a clear enough indicator, it's obvious now that this place is a prison. The doors scissors open, letting out a blast of warm air. You quickly duck inside and it seals rapidly behind you. The cramped interior passages glows warmly, but its ragged condition keeps it from feeling cozy. You follow that corridor, ducking beneath hanging wires and loose insulation. This is where you were told you'll find Luz, or whatever her real name is. You come out into a communal mess, counters and food preparation units fitted into the walls, cushioned stools and couches scattered around. A couple of contractors are stretched out in the space, one of them snoring loudly in the corner, another sipping from a food packet on a stool. Suddenly, a door on the far side opens out to the cavern, letting in a flurry of ice shards that quickly become scattered orbs of water. You watch the figure as they glide into the warm light of the interior, with their dark hair and bright eyes, and know this is who you're looking for. You meet eyes with hers, and something sparks in that dull and cloying room. It's as if she recognizes you. Sleeper? She looks in a haze, her hair stuck to her forehead with sweat, her eyes still adjusted to the interior. Luz? She nods slowly. You see her scan you, taking in your clothes, the way you hold yourself, your face. For a moment, you feel exposed, aware of your damaged vinyl skin, your industrial markings, your doll-like features. You feel the familiar sense of being objectified, but also something warmer below it, a recognition of what you are. She blinks, exhales, and shakes her head, realizing she's mistaken. Give me a sec, all right? I just finished cutting 100 cubic meters of ice. She pulls back her hood. I haven't seen you down here before. They just contract you or something? The tension drops, but you get the feeling she isn't quite looking at you. She crosses to a food unit and pulls out a packet, slotting it into a warmer. She thumbs it on. First sleeper I've seen in a long while. She doesn't take her eyes off the slowly warming food. You'll do okay down here. I know you folks are tough and stick with the job. That's good. The rest I can show you once I've eaten. She laughs a little to herself. I'm with your brother. My brother? She pauses, her eyes not leaving the warmer. I think you have me confused with someone else. Stop. We need to talk. She turns to face you, and you see a wet shine to her eyes. What are you going on about? You realize what you need to tell her. Serafin is on Wellspring. The warmer chimes to let her know the food packet is ready, but she doesn't seem to notice. Serafin? She takes a ragged breath and then steadies herself. Here? Not here. At the cut. She nods and then shakes her head. Well, if he trusts you with his name, I guess I should trust you with mine. She comes closer. I'm Tala. She smiles a warm smile. Now, where is my idiot brother? I'll take you to him. She laughs nervously. Sorry, this is not what I was expecting on my lunch break. Tala suddenly seems to take on some energy. She glances toward the corridor behind you and the door at its end. I sure hope you have a plan, Sleeper, because they do not want us locked-in contractors getting out. She moves toward the corridor. There's security in the shaft, and then again at the pit head. You must have passed through the checkpoint at the entrance, too. I doubt we can bypass all those. She turns back, grabs her food packet, smiles at you, and shepherds you toward the corridor. You could run a distraction, maybe? Or is Sarah on that already? You're slightly taken aback by her sudden change. We're going to have to... A blaring alarm sounds inside the habitation module, loud enough to wake the sleeping contractor with a start. You and Tala exchange glances. Surely this can't be for you. Tala rushes down the corridor and tears open the door at the far end, and you follow in close behind. The ice scatters, glittering in the interior light. The cavern is in chaos. You see dark-suited Lotic security wrestling with contractors, lit by flashing red alerts. More contractors are coming in through the door in the grill you entered from, carrying bulky equipment. The equipment is blaring out a voice, Kirk's voice, echoing around the cavern. A look of panic crosses Tala's face. A general strike is now in effect. All contractors should down tools and hold in place. Extraction will cease until our terms are met. Kirk's voice distorts and shifts. We have blockaded all traffic to and from Wellspring. We seek the resignation of the Syndicate's leadership and for a new workers' council to be installed in its place. This cycle, we will shut down the shaft. Any worker not willing to strike should leave now. There's a screech of noise, and the message begins repeating. You watch as the security are pushed back toward the grill, outnumbered by the gathering workers. Tala looks at you for guidance. Now's our chance. Tala looks around the cavern, the red light reflecting in her wide eyes. I need to stay. I won't abandon the others. What about Serafin? Tell my brother what's happening. Tell him I'm not leaving until all of us are free. Tala backs away, glancing over her shoulder at the others. You see them gathering their tools and taking them to be locked away in the hab module. I need to see this through, Sleeper, and you need to go. Find Serafin. Do what you can from out there. Help us change this place. And with that, she turns and glides off toward the others. You turn and head for the grill as quickly as you can, the way now cleared by the contractors, the handful of Lotic security pushed back up to somewhere near the pit head. As you ascend, other contractors shooting you dark looks as you do. You realize you have to speak with Kirk. You find Kirk at the pit head, directing contractors to barricade the entry points to the mine. So, you took my advice. Good. Kirk smiles. We're glad to have you as an ally here, Sleeper. You could have warned me. The entirety of Wellspring's at stake here. Kirk shakes his head. This is not about individuals. The Syndicate was arrogant. They did not believe we could do this. Kirk gestures toward the contractors welding plating across the checkpoints. But we far outnumber them. Their monopoly ends here. How can I help? Kirk leads you a little way away from the contractors. If you want to free those like Serafin's sister, I'll need your help. We have ships, but not many, and the Syndicate still has tankers in operation. Our blockade is not complete. The debris field between here and the fast spindle remains open. We need another tanker to occupy it and dissuade the Syndicate from trying to pass. All our crews are in use, but your ship and your crew could help us take a tanker and secure the blockade. You want me to storm a tanker? This will not be an assault. Kirk puts a hand on your shoulder. The tanker, the Headstream, has been held outside Wellspring for many cycles. The crew is tired and sympathetic to our cause. We'll just give them a nudge. Your ship will pose an in-distress trader as an in-distress trader trapped inside the debris field. When the headstream is obliged to rescue, we'll board and encourage the crew to take control. We? Kirk laughs. You think I wouldn't come? I'm key to our success. Kirk folds his arms across his chest. Will you do it? I will. I knew you would. I'm glad to have you on our cause, Sleeper. Suddenly, Kirk puts 2 fingers in his mouth and blasts out a shrill whistle. A contractor quickly approaches with a large box, the front marked by screens and dials, and the back by loose cables. You'll need this HasNav unit to navigate the debris field. He nods to the contractor. Jen's here will install it to your ship. Consider it a gift, from our cause to yours. He nods once more and Jen passes by you, heading for the lift to the docking ring with your new module. I will provide the headstream's coordinates. He moves away toward the contractors, still working on the checkpoint. Oh, okay, that's probably... I'll provide the headstream's coordinates. He moves away toward the contractors, still working on the checkpoints. And I'll wait for your word. You leave the pithead behind, your mind racing. You do not know how you have ended up in the middle of all this, but you know it'll be up to you to pilot your way through. Sleeper. Serafin comes up the passage towards you. What's happening? I heard the pithead is being taken over by Kirk's guys. This, you realize, will take a lot of explaining. Yes, indeed, but it looks like we are now in the middle of a rebellion. Fun times. But we do have an upgrade that's going to let us get through some barriers, so that is awesome. So we will see what will happen in the next episode. Hope y'all have enjoyed it. If you liked the episode, please leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, that'd be a big help. I will see you next time. Later days, everyone.